Viewers, very warm welcome to another episode of our regular weekly joint production between We News English and Strathia, The Weekend. And with that, I am Muhammad Ali.
I am Murtaza Solangi.
So, Mr. Solangi, this week was equally interesting, but in a different way. The crisis seems to have been managed and de escalated between India and Pakistan. And we are witnessing the post crisis diplomatic activity in Islamabad, New Delhi, and also around the world. We've heard President Trump repeatedly claim that it was his intervention and contribution which saved South Asia from a nuclear war. And he also wants to claim that he saved the lives of millions of people. And very interestingly, you have also noticed that India is trying to sort of disagree with this American claim. So I think there are several aspects that we'll discuss. But most important question right now, after this eighth crisis in South Asia in 4 decades, is that what's new, and has this crisis changed, repaired, or maintain the geopolitical status quo in this region and Asia Pacific? And we'll try to explore its impact in diplomatic, in economic, political, and security domains. So let me start by asking you, how do you compare the political consequences of this crisis inside India with those of Pakistan?
Very interesting observations, Ali. Let me just quickly go over what has changed and what has not. For example, you rightly said that the crisis has subsided, but the ripple effects are still on. For example, today, Pakistan extended the NOTAM airspace for India and Indian owned and leased airlines till almost end of the next month. So
Indeed.
the after effects of that crisis are still there. How both countries are managing this post-crisis situation. India, that has suffered heavy blow in military, diplomatic, and media domains, is trying to compensate that humiliation with over toxic rhetoric by the top officials, starting with Modi down, and equally their right-wing media. So
but I want you to quickly compare the mood, the political temperature and mood in New Delhi and Islamabad.
the mood in India is showing a lot of political stress with Congress and other political parties and remnants of independent media and critics. They are blasting Modi, especially Congress, who continue asking tough questions. Although India is about to give a send-off to their so-called multi-party delegation, which is actually a BJP handpicked delegation, because they did not ask these political parties to nominate their representatives, but these are...
But Mr. Solangi, let me ask you a follow-up, but relevant. Why, in your assessment, the Indian opposition is not convinced about Mr. Modi's claims that he has achieved the objectives and targets of Operation Sindoor?
Indian opposition, starting with Congress, are well aware of the political motives of Mr. Modi before starting this crisis. They knew very well that it was not about uh, uh, maintaining and defending the sovereignty of India, but actually doing something to get political mileage out of it. Had there been any broad spectrum objectives of this uh, uh, action that took place in those 18 days, Modi would have even attended that all party conference. Instead, he sent, his minister, and he straight away went to Bihar to address a political rally. So they
So on
can.
a lighter note, you don't expect Mr. Modi to sort of upgrade the Indian Air Force chiefs as the chief of Air Marshal, or make the Indian Army chief as Field Marshal, like Pakistan has done this time.
He would rather want to upgrade himself as Field Marshal Modi. And the memes have already started coming out. He is shown wearing the fatigues of a fighter jet aircraft.
And that's a very interesting observation, Mr. Solangi, because in Pakistan, we have seen pictures of Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir around Rawalpindi streets and Islamabad streets. But I don't think our political leadership is that brave or imaginative to wear army khakis and pretend to be military leaders. But we are witnessing Mr. Modi wearing the flying overalls, and perhaps we expected to him to probably fly one of the Rafales before he can be warmly received in Pakistan. That's quite interesting.
I think our political leadership is better off by not embarking on that path of cheap stunts. We let our real war heroes speak for themselves through their actions. And those actions have been seen and widely acknowledged by the global community. It's not about ourselves chest thumping. We let the world acknowledge it.
And I think that also proves your earlier point that why Mr. Modi would like his posters to be plastered all over India in flying overalls, despite losing number of Rafale aircrafts. That perhaps proves that his real objective is self-projection and emergence as a conqueror who deserves recognition in Indian history, rather than achieving some specific professional military objectives.
Actually, BJP leadership has gone back accusing Congress leadership and declaring them traitors and people who are anti-national and Deshdrohi. And I was just watching one of their leaders equating and mentioning 1991 agreement with Pakistan as an evidence of their treason. Now, it's quite a laughing matter, because in late 88, India under Rajiv Gandhi and Pakistan under Benazir Bhutto initiated that agreement that got enforced when Rajiv was gone, and so was Benazir Bhutto in 1991 when we had Nawaz Sharif. And that was basically both countries had agreed that we would provide each other the information of nuclear facilities, and we hereby pledge that we will not attack these nuclear facilities. That agreement has been enforced and widely recognized and respected, and still enforced even by Modi government. This is his, second, third term. So if that agreement was so bad and treasonous, how come all these governments have been following it? That was one of the most sensible thing to do. So the internal fissures within Indian polity have sharpened dramatically.
And how do you look at the political temperature and environment in Pakistan after this conflict?
Well, if you go on the street, you can feel the mood. There is a great sense of unity in Pakistan, except some defeatist elements within PTI. I would not even call the entire PTI, because if you saw the current chairman of PTI, Barrister Gohar, congratulated General Asim Munir on this award, while earlier Mr. Imran Khan was, in two minds and has finally started mocking it, including his sister. But overall, I think the mood in Pakistan across the board in the political spectrum is of national unity, unlike India.
Okay, Mr. Solangi, let's come to the economic side of it. I asked a leading economic expert, Mr. Farooq Salim, to assess the cost of war for both countries. He calculated that the cost was negligible in case of Pakistan, and he gave an evidence that the recent IMF talks also proves that IMF did not have a major concern regarding this cost of war in the upcoming budget, which is due to be announced on 10th of June. But in contrast, he assessed that Pakistan was able to inflict a total damage on Indian military infrastructure worth $4 billion per hour. So you can calculate, and I was talking to the air chief yesterday, and I was informed that after 3 hours of intense military destruction of almost their 15 air bases, the first DGMO contact was made by India at 7:30 in the morning, asking for ceasefire. So 3 hours were enough for India to make the pain of Pakistan's lawful retaliation as unbearable for them. But let's quickly move to the diplomatic domain, which is very interesting. And we are seeing a lot of interesting activities. Today, Pakistan's Prime Minister is also expected to visit a number of countries in Central and West Asia. And I think India is also sending some delegations around the world. What do you think are the objectives of this post-crisis diplomacy of Pakistan and India, and what is its significance?
Well, Pakistan has been diplomatically super active. I'm sure you have seen the reports when Mr. Ishaq Dar, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Pakistan, along with a high-level delegation, went to Beijing. And besides bilateral important meetings, they also had a rare trilateral meeting with Afghanistan, with their acting foreign minister, Mr. Muttaqi there. The interesting outcome that has come out of those meetings, if you look at even the statement of Wang Yi, the foreign minister of China, that China is playing an important role in managing the relationship not only between Pakistan and Afghanistan, but also is poised to expand the economic integration by extending CPEC to Afghanistan. Now, this is a major economic and strategic development. Those decisions that have come out are a clear message to India, almost reading out Miranda rights to South Bloc, that you might have $600 billion in your kitty, but you cannot provide economic and uh, strategic security to this region, including Afghanistan. So there's a very important message to Afghan interim government that India possibly cannot help you survive as Pakistan and China taken together can. In this meeting, Muhammad Sadiq was also there, and I'm expecting not only next trilateral soon in Kabul, but a lot of bilateral interactions between Pakistan and Afghanistan. That would send a powerful message to TTP and BLA that they would not be able to enjoy the support they used to have. And I am told that TTP has already closed down some of their actions. They have gone low. So interesting developments are expected soon in this region.
Indeed, and let me relate your very comprehensive and insightful analysis with the likely trends in the security domain immediately after this intense India-Pakistan crisis. I see the ongoing diplomatic activity as part of Pakistan's strategic outreach to isolate and expose India geopolitically by exposing its rampant, frequent support for terrorism, its trigger-happy posture, a very irresponsible strategic behavior, and a decision to unilaterally attack Pakistan without any international investigation after the Pahalgam incidents. But I see it as part of Pakistan's strategic diplomatic outreach aimed at not just exposing India, but also reducing the political, economic, military, and geographical support of Indian proxy organizations like BLA and TTP. And I see the visit of Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister to China and a successful Sino-Pak effort aimed at extracting a public and diplomatic commitment from Kabul administration that they will not support terrorist organizations to operate from their space. And then you link it with the upcoming prime minister's visit to Iran. And I see it also in that context that Pakistani leadership is likely to request the Iranians to also reduce the space for terrorists, which for those terrorists which are enemies of both countries. And after these, very important diplomatic efforts, we also witnessed a very comprehensive DGISPR press conference today, which seemed like a very comprehensive and convincing military effort aimed at convincing the public that and also the international community that we have ample evidence that these organizations not only lack legitimacy, their targeting strategy is inhuman and illegal, and they do not stand up for Baloch rights and development, but are nothing but paid mercenaries working for Indian money. And he also played video of Indian military officers, audio of military officers, in which they claim that they are willing to pay up to 10 million rupees if they kill a senior Pakistani military officer. So I think the environment is shaping up and favoring Pakistan, both diplomatically and you've mentioned politically as well. The political temperature has subsided. The polarization has been reduced, and the gap between military and public has also reduced. So I think the environment is quite favorable for military to consider a decisive and comprehensive interagency and multi-pronged effort aimed at eliminating BLA TTP from Balochistan.
And I will just add that not only Iran, but Prime Minister is going to all those countries of our region that stood by Pakistan, that includes Turkey, includes Azerbaijan. So Pakistan's footprint in the region is extending, while Indians are fuming at Americans and Donald Trump. The latest is Mr. Trump threatening Apple that if you manufacture in India, you will be slapped with 25% tariff. So Indians are in big trouble, and I don't see any major achievement of that delegation of so-called opposition parties by Indian government in important capitals.
Since you mentioned Indian politics, my last comment is also on political environment, and I'm sure because we both were there yesterday, I think it is very clear that both President and Prime Minister jointly handed over the baton of Field Marshal to Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir. And as a political scientist, that symbolizes that the entire coalition leadership is celebrating the military success and wants to be present on this historic occasion, which also saw Mr. Nawaz Sharif to be present there as well on this historic occasion of making of Pakistan's only the second field marshal in history, and perhaps the first one who is appointed by a democratically elected civilian government. So I think nothing succeeds like success, Murtaza Saab. And I feel sorry for Mr. Modi that his claims do not seem very convincing for their countrymen and opposition. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to share your views, comments, and likes, and keep watching this program for more interesting and insightful analysis on the most important global, regional, and national issues. Thank you so much.